Stephen Sharp from Urbanize to hear how he's using Giraffe. So Stephen Sharp is the co-founder and managing editor of Urbanize Media, and he oversees real estate architecture and urban planning coverage for the Los Angeles area. He's an Angelino by birth, and he has a bachelor's degree, or he has two, in political science and history from the University of California, and a background in public affairs. Stephen.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate that. So good afternoon, and for at least on my end, good morning, I think, for a lot of you guys. Like Rob said, I'm Stephen. So I man the LA site. We launched in 2015, kind of covering real estate development and urban planning with a real hyper-local focus. And in the last couple of years, we've been in a little bit of a growth spurt, as you can see, kind of highlighted it on the page there. We've added sites in covering Atlanta, Austin, Chicago, Detroit, New York, and Seattle. I guess I would describe this kind of as something that started as a passion project. Me and one of my business partners kind of just had a shared interest in all of the new developments and urban planning, and we thought it would be helpful to have kind of a news repository for all of the things, all the news about the new buildings going up, the new rail lines being built, and all the kind of wonky policies that inform that. And the people who like to nerd out about the stuff, such as myself, have been a really key component of this audience that we built over the years, and it still is. But as this has kind of grown, we've learned gradually that there is another core constituency we have, which is all the people who kind of touch on these projects, whether they be in the government sector, elected officials who approve them, or planning staff, but also developers. And something that Andrew was talking about earlier was all the consultants, lawyers, architects, engineers, general contractors. They all kind of have an interest in this subject matter. So when it kind of came time a couple of years ago, we finally wanted to get something that we've always thought about up and running, which is this projects tab. You might see it if you go up to the top, you can see it there. We'd always wanted a way to better visualize all this stuff that we talk about. It's that it's one thing to see it in words, but it's just another thing, and now you can see it here, just to see how it looks mapped out like this. And it's to credit Giraffe, I mean, you guys have been watching the same thing that I have. This tool is incredibly powerful. It's there's really nothing else out there like it. And so when we saw this, like, okay, well, we gotta, this is a very fruitful partnership here. But it appeals to both of those two segments of the audience that we reference. For the enthusiasts, like, there's nothing quite like being able to look at, a project like this, that you see this skyscraper there and see what it looks like in the context of everything else that's around it, everything else that's going to be around it. It's like a way to look 5-10 years in the future. There's nothing that makes you happier to see that if you're someone who nerds out about development in LA or Atlanta or Chicago. But it also really has a lot of applicability to the professional audience too. There's a fellow I know who does biz dev for a big architecture firm here in Southern California, and he told me that Urbanize is his Bible. And that might be a little bit blasphemous, but I realize that people use this how it made me start to think about how people use this. And seeing this stuff visualized in this way kind of informs that. If you have an apartment building going up, in downtown Los Angeles, and you want to see, where is a competing project, how is that proceeding through the entitlement pipeline? Where are they in construction? It's a lot easier to just be able to pull that up on a map feature such as this. Or, if you're a land use consultant, just trying to figure out, putting together an EIR to give legal cover to your client, you need to know really what's happening all around you. And this data is all out there. You know, a lot of this is publicly available information, but it's never really been packaged together, I think, just in a way that's so intuitive and comprehensive. I mean, just we have just like such a tiny fraction of like the capabilities that I've seen in this presentation enabled on our site. And the feedback has really been incredible. It's, you know, we still have to build out a lot of our own data to get this, you know, built out and even more fleshed out. But the feedback is that, you know, this is, it's something that people have desperately wanted, both for the folks who just love looking at tall buildings, but also the folks who, you know, live and breathe this, and it puts, you know, food on their tables. So I really can't say enough about just what a value add this is for our audience, both the professional and the enthusiasts.